That there are. Good evening and welcome to the Conservation Commission meeting of Monday, February 6th. Where did the January go? We're meeting just for the record, the schedule, if anybody was looking at the agenda, the scheduled 6:30 executive session was canceled. So we'll call the meeting to order now at 7 o'clock. We're meeting via Zoom, obviously live, and also the program is being broadcast live on Foxboro Cable Access. And these are all as recommendations from our former Governor Baker to keep in compliance. So that being said, I'll open the meeting for 7 o'clock. Do we have any comments from the audience? Okay. Public discussion. Do we have any minutes we want to take care of, Dave?
We have minutes of December 12th, 2022. And basically it was 61 East Belcher Road, Newcastle Lake Association, and their discussions about the stones and fence of what they're going to do, but they also mentioned that they have a lake management plan that we requested. They did make that available. And then we had a couple of small items on the West Street Dam. Other than that, everything that's in here, I haven't seen no reason or issues, unless anybody else picked up.
Any other comments?
Nope.
Okay.
Make a motion to accept the meeting for December 12th minutes as presented.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Okay. Excuse me, Jane, are you there?
She was.
She was.
Yes, I am.
Yay.
Okay.
I
all
am.
right. Do you want to bring us up to date on the dam on West Street? Any updates on that? I know the water is flowing through the new structure.
Yes, the consultant says that it is, and they wanted to talk about adding a fence type of thing so that pedestrians wouldn't fall off of the edge and on the lower side of the dam.
Okay.
And they wanted to know if there should be a space underneath or not.
Okay. Could you get a little bit closer to your mic, please? Because you're fading
Can you hear
out.
me? All right. All right. How
So-
about now?
Okay. Could you repeat that last statement about the fence?
The fence that they need to put on the downstream side of the crossing to prevent pedestrians from falling in. They wanted to know if they should have a 6-inch space under it or if they should just make it to the ground or what. I only heard back from one of you, and it was Rich, and Rich said that he thinks keeping the critters from going across the street is what should be done, but I mean, what happens if they go across and get stuck?
Yeah, good question. If they don't use the route provided and they do use the street, then, yeah, we probably should have an emergency access for them. So,
They'll have that 6 inches?
yeah, that's.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.
Anybody else have any comments?
Makes sense.
Jane, what's on the other side, though? Is it wide
It's
open?
the stream. It's
No,
the
no, no, no.
stream.
If you cross the street, is it something preventing them from getting down?
I'm not sure. There's a Cape Cod berm so that they can get, so that they won't get stuck in the street. And I think that this is just an extra one that's by the actual dam itself, by the actual bridge itself, if you want to call it that, or the culvert. I'm not sure, though. I put something in my report, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Then I've been homesick today,
Yeah.
so I'm really off.
Okay, Dave?
I just, yeah. It looks like there's just a guardrail on the other side. So they could easily get through to the other side if they're going that way.
Jane, is it the section that's right along the street?
I believe so. Like I said, it wasn't really clear to me from the plan itself, but I think basically it boils down to, do you want to leave a space underneath it so that creatures can go under it, or do you want to have it go to the ground? Kind of forcing them to go through the culvert, but
But if they get as far as the fence, they're not going to turn around and go back and go down to the culvert, I don't think.
no, that's
so-
true.
But if it's, is it that, the guardrail pedestrian safety fence that's in the image, on your report?
Yes.
So that is right at the road. Mm-hmm. So the other side, one side is the road, the other side is the drop off down the culvert.
It's true. It's true. If there were a space and something went underneath it, they'd just go plopping into the water, I'm assuming.
Right.
And it's next to the sidewalk they're creating.
So, I mean, I don't see it matter that much either way. Because they're not gonna go through that from the side that it's on. They have to get up onto the street to get to that point. So the
And
other
hopefully they
side,
won't.
if they're going the other way, there's, fence that kind of directs them off to the side, so.
All right. Give them room to crawl under.
You want them to have room to crawl under, okay.
Yes. Safety net, whatever. That being said, it's 7:05 PM. Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, and Foxborough's Wetland Protection Bylaw, Chapter 267, the Conservation Commission will open a public hearing on Monday, December 12th, which was at 2022, 7:05 PM in the Gala Meeting Room, Foxborough Town Hall, 40 South Street, or via Zoom on a notice of intent filed by Blue Diamond Realty Trust to construct a commercial facility along with associated parking, grading, and utilities at 61 East Belcher Road, Assessors Map 122 and 135, P 006 and 002. Portions of the proposed work lie within 100 feet of a resource area. Mr. Gray.
Good evening, Chairman and members of the board. For the record, my name is Cameron Gray. I'm here tonight on behalf of our client, Blue Diamond, to discuss the notice of intent that was submitted for 61 East Belcher Road. If I could share my screen, I'll get the rendering up for everyone. So 61 East Belcher Road consists of two parcels totaling 9.57 acres. So we have this front parcel right here our client has owned, and then we have this rear parcel right here. Our client just recently acquired that. So these parcels are located on the southwestern side of East Belcher Road. So East Belcher Road is out over here. So this back parcel here is currently undeveloped and consists of a wooded area, while the front parcel here consists majority of a gravel area. And then there's a wood line. It's kind of hard to see it, but it's right around here.
Now, someday you're going to get smart enough to get that cursor in red or something so you can follow it.
Let me see if I can zoom in for you. Yeah. It's right there in blue.
Okay.
So this lot is serviced by a common driveway off of East Belcher Road. So the property contains bordering vegetated wetlands in the front of the property, which we can see here. And there's also wetlands to the north of the property out back, but the buffer zone doesn't cross onto our property at all. So our client is proposing the construction of a 6,250 square foot warehouse along with the associated parking, grading, and utilities. So a portion of the parking area and the grading and the stormwater basin will be within the 100-foot buffer zone. So I have the 100-foot buffer zone right here in the dots. So you can see the portion of the parking area right there within it, and then the stormwater basin is entirely within it. So the parking area will sit about 78 feet from the wetland at its closest point, and grading will take place about 27 feet from the wetland at its closest point. In all, it will be about 11,000 square feet of buffer zone being altered due to this project. We're not proposing any work within the 25-foot no disturb. So this facility will be serviced by municipal water and a conventional septic system. I'm sorry I don't show my septic system on my rendering here, but if you have the site plan, you can turn to sheet 4. The septic system is going to be located in front of the building right here, and it will be at least 150 feet away from the wetland, which meets the commission setback. The stormwater system for this project will consist of roof drains, deep sump catch basins, and stormwater basin. So the runoff from the parking area will be treated by the catch basins before being conveyed to the stormwater basin. And the roof runoff will be conveyed separately to the stormwater basin. The stormwater system has been designed to comply with the DEP stormwater standards, as well as the Town of Foxborough stormwater management bylaws. The town's consultant has also recently reviewed the stormwater system, and we addressed all their comments. There's no major modifications to the site plan. Erosion control for this project will consist of silt socks and silt sacks that will be installed prior to the start of construction and will be maintained until the project is complete and ground cover has been reestablished. A stabilized construction entrance is also proposed for this project to prevent the tracking of sediment off-site. And lastly, this site also lies within a National Heritage Endangered Species Program priority habitat. Our client has taken the necessary steps by working with Oxbow Associates to submit a Massachusetts Endangered Species Act review in April of 2022. The division reviewed the project and issued a permit in September of 2022 with the condition that a turtle protection plan be submitted. Oxbow Associates has prepared a Blandings turtle plan for the site, which was included in my notice of intent packet.
Okay.
That concludes my presentation.
Okay. A number of us walked the site, and I didn't see any discrepancies. Anybody else have any questions, comments? And I'll let Jane have some comments. I'll let her chime in a minute. Anything for the board?
I was unable to walk the site, so I can't say anything about that.
Jane? Jane, are you there? That's what I love about Zoom.
Mr. Chairman, based on the photographs and aerials, I wasn't able to go do the sidewalk because I had COVID, but part of this lot has, part of the activities on this lot has violated the Wetlands Protection Act. Part of the buffer zone is filled in. We also have staining in that area, or a little upland, that could be sinking into the ground. Maybe not that much, but it's there. And it's probably been there for a while. And based on Jane's review, no permit or authority was allowed to go into the buffer zone currently when you walk out there.
Yeah. There's been prior violations, definitely. I'm not sure. That's the reason why I want her to chime in to see how that affects the current.
Okay, I've unmuted myself.
Okay, thank you.
I couldn't do it before, sorry. I basically put all my comments into the sheet and into my report. And there's a lot of work that's been done within that 100-foot buffer without any permits. And the back portion lot is going to be completely leveled and excavated to about 36 feet at the back. And there's going to be a large detention basin or pond, it's been referred to, in the front, rather at the bottom, at the southern end. But we don't have a whole lot of jurisdictional area, so I don't like personally, I don't like this plan, but that's just my opinion. It's up to you guys.
But I guess the question is, how does that affect the present filing?
Well, the present filing, there's work that's been performed in that lot within 100 feet of the wetland without any kind of permits from the commission or from anyone else, from what I can gather.
Secondly, can we authorize this type of activity on a lot that there may not be an earth removal permit that created the way the lot looks now, in violation of the earth removal bylaws of the town? Because would be, if we authorize a permit for this on a site that's maybe not in compliance, based on the evidence that, Jane provided us and looking everything up and working with you, Bill.
I don't know. That's a planning board, or Board of Selectmen for the earth removal, right?
Right, but that's also a town council thing. Can we legally authorize a permit when it isn't in compliance, not only for the wetlands, but the other part? The town is responsible for protecting the resources and the locale, the neighbors and everything else.
Good, a valid question, and I don't have the answer for it. So, in other words, if we approve it, we're condoning the prior violations. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and yes, basically.
So my answer, Mr. Chairman, would be, and quoting that great public official, Eric Avedon, who served on the Board of Health for decades, just like most of you guys have. And what happens is what Mr. Opaka just said is, it's a good point, and it comes up a lot. And what Eric says, and I always quote it, is somebody's got to go first, and everybody has their lane. So, your lane is the work within 100 feet of a wetland, which is a very tiny portion of this property. And I'm just stating a fact, as it was done long before Mr. Mahoney bought it. I mean, you can go to Google Earth and go back to like 2000, and it was altered back then, and he purchased it only about 4 or 5 years ago. So it was an alteration that he did within the buffer zone, is what I'm talking about. And you're right, it was done without permits from the planning board or without this commission. But somebody has to go first. The planning board has to give their, see, if everybody said, we can't move forward because of this. Well, the planning board, the work was done in the buffer zone without conservation permit. The work was done there without a planning board permit, and the work was done there without an earth removal permit. So everybody could say, we can't go because that's not done. So my suggestion, and I know I don't get to vote, is, you have your lane, and your lane has to do with the work in the buffer zone, the Wetlands Protection Act. And as Jane pointed out, it's only that portion down at the beginning there where Cam showed you, and where we did our site walk, I showed you, and there's really only a very little portion of it. So, if you focused on that, it doesn't mean we can move forward and do anything. We still have to go to the planning board to receive site plan approval, and we still need to go to the Board of Selectmen to receive an earth removal permit. So, not asking you to vote tonight. I mean, that's fine. We still have to go to the planning board. But at some point, somebody has to take a vote, so people can move
It
forward.
would be contingent upon
Approval.
approval by other boards.
Right, which is always the case. It's always the case. You guys could, and what we try and do is run it in parallel, so everybody's done around the same time, because we want everybody to approve the same plan. We don't want you to approve something and then the planning board make changes. We want to just kind of run it in parallel. And we haven't been to the planning board yet, so we wouldn't ask you to close this tonight. We would just want to, move things forward, and it's a valid point. That's my shtick.
Can you show, has any of the 25-foot no disturb zone been disturbed so far?
No, not even close.
Okay. Unfortunately, I was planning on making that site walk, and I had a meeting show up at work, but I had to attend, so.
We can set up another one if
Yeah,
you'd like to.
so that's my question right now, is you know, where is the, I mean, I was looking at on Google Earth where the image is, and you can see where, you know, where you can see where the vegetation is, but from that I can't tell where the 25 foot is, which.
So the blue right here is that wood line. And
Okay.
there's basically a build-up right there.
Okay.
And then after that wood line, nothing has been disturbed.
Yep, so at this point, everything, yeah, what is that? Is that 75 feet? Maybe 80? Roughly,
Yeah.
somewhere there? I mean, anything outside that hasn't been disturbed yet? Okay.
Now,
Getting back to the question of what our jurisdiction is, and so,
now, are you going to be grading on the other side of that pond as well?
So I'm sorry, it's kind of tough to tell. So this is a rock wall, or a wall that I have proposed right here. And then I kind of just grade off into catching those existing grades while trying to keep everything out of that 25-foot no disturb.
So you will be grading in that area then?
Yeah, so we'll be
okay.
grading that area, but we don't have any plans to go within that 25-foot no touch.
Okay.
on that basin, is that, I mean, I'm looking at that, that's what, 230 feet right now? Is that correct?
Yeah, so the top of my basin, I'm pretty sure I have it at 234.
Yep.
But yeah, so I got 236, and then it slopes off pretty drastically to that berm down to 230, 228.
Is that, you know, is that similar to what it is right now then?
Yes, for that, it kind of follows the shape of what is out there right
Okay,
now.
okay. All right, yep. That's, looking at the, you know, the map without the work on, that's kind of what it looks like, so.
Yeah, yeah. If you, when we go out there, you can see it's a pretty big build-up there.
Yep.
One other item, since there was no earth removal permit, or none can be found, one of the requirements is that the Conservation Commission is supposed to get a copy of the proposed earth removal activity. And we have earth removal bylaws that are very specific, and one of them is a 50-foot buffer. No cut, no touch, no dig, and a 3-to-1 slope, which, when you're looking at your plans here, even though it's outside wetland jurisdiction, the Concom has to make comments. And I think Jane might have made comments to the planning board for their site plan review. There's no buffer here.
Right, so, you know, that earth removal bylaw, I'm taking Cam's shtick away. The earth removal bylaw is old, and I don't even know, normally I have a lot of history in my head. I think that bylaw was put in the 70s, I think. And I think it was put in, or in the 60s even. I'm guessing what it was put in was when like 95 and 495 were being built. So land didn't have a lot of value, but the earth did. So you come into Foxborough, and I can name some of the sites, because as a kid we used to drink there. We had the Spruce Street pits. That was that area was all gravelled out, and then probably for 495. Down by where I grew up was the Gavin's Pond area, which I know you guys are all very familiar with. That whole area, which is now the Ames, and down in that area there, which we used to call Tanglewood, that was a whole gravel area, including going into Sharon. And then like on Beach Street, if you go halfway down Beach Street from Mechanic Street, look on the right, you see this big rock face, and there's a couple of houses up there. That was all gravelled out. So the earth removal bylaw was put in for, you know, not for site plans and stuff. So whenever we go before them, I just went before them for the Board of Selectmen for one for a single-family house, and we had no buffer zones. They do it. It's like any other regulation. They have to look at it and say, you know, what's the purpose of the reg, and does it meet it? So I know it has guidelines. It also says things like, you know, we want a 50-foot grid of a topo and things like that, which, you know, we don't typically do. You know, we want to know what the contours are. So I understand what you're saying, and certainly you can make whatever comment you want to the Board of Selectmen. I'm just pointing out that a lot of the stuff in there doesn't really apply to site plans or even single-family houses. The selectmen usually go with what town engineer, the DPW director say. If they tell us 50 feet, then we'll have to deal with 50 feet. But the earth removal we're talking about is on the back lot, Cam. It's not in the front lot. The front lot is pretty much done, except for down near the building. This area back here is where all of the work is, or most of the work is going to take place. When Jane said, you know, a 30-foot cut, that 30-foot cut is in the top left as you're looking at it.
The rocks and,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. So that area there is the area where the gravel will be removed.
But buffer zones are meant for a reason. Even these days, there's a reason for buffer zones with neighbors. And then you have some endangered species habitat out there, though.
Well, they've got the Foxborough report and
Yeah.
the sign off from the,
Right. There's a possibility of blinding turtles coming in, and that's on wildlands, conservation land that they just received from some property owners. I think you still have that as unknown, right?
No, it's to the left there. The owner unknown is to the north. We don't know who the owner is. The town doesn't know who the owner is. But it's the same person, it's the same entity that sold the land to my client. They sold it to 3 different people. They sold it to my client, to the Lions Greenhouse on Spring Street, and to this wildlife trust that you're talking about. So it's true, and I understand what you're saying, and, you know, it's a good point. But we have no neighbors. It's not a buffer. Typically, a buffer is to protect you from, you know, I don't know, looking at things or noise or whatever, but there's nothing out there. It's all vacant land. And like I said, if the selectmen decide 50 feet, then we'll have to do 50 feet. It's up to them. But right now, we're just showing 10, which is a zoning requirement.
does anybody want to do a site walk that wasn't able to make it?
Yeah, right.
I would go, yeah.
All right. When is convenient for,
Probably never, no. Jeff, what's your schedule look like?
I mean, I could do it tomorrow noonish, and I could do it Thursday easily,
Dave?
at maybe 1.
I'm open.
Let's ask the critical question. What's the weather going to be like?
Thursday's supposed to rain.
Not as cold as it was
Thursday's
over
a
the weekend.
60% chance of rain.
Thursday?
Yep.
Yep.
No, that's not a good one.
Tomorrow's 40, Wednesday's 50, Friday is 60.
Are you talking
Temperature,
temperatures?
She's talking
Temperatures, yes.
temperature.
Okay, all right.
I'm free tomorrow as well, if that works.
Can we do it later in the day? I have, like full all till like 2 o'clock. Can we do it like
I'm
3?
working at home, though. Yeah, my only question is if I have a car or not. But I could get, somebody give me a ride, then it's no problem.
That's easy.
I just getting car service tomorrow, that's why I'm working at home.
To a degree, I need to be in front of my computer at home at 4.
How about 2:30? I mean, really, it depends on what you want to look at.
Right.
I mean, really, you know, your piece of the pie is down there. When we were with Jane, we walked,
Yeah,
I didn't walk, but Cam walked way over.
yeah.
So
Cam and Jim worked a lot longer than we did, but we covered most of it.
2:30 is fine.
Okay,
Yeah, 2:30.
so 2:30 tomorrow.
Okay. So with that, when is our next meeting, Diana?
March 6th.
March 6th. You want to continue this to that time?
I'm just going to ask one question.
Yep.
Bob, you usually always ask. why can't the parking area on that downside of the building be put on the other side so that the basin is not occupying all the rest of the buffer zone? That there is still some of the natural buffer zone supporting the 25-foot area, which is all treed, except for the part that they filled in.
So, what do you want?
Well, we just, like anybody else, we just want to make maximum use of our property. You can see if we move it to the back, see the grade lines behind the building? So that's more cutting, if we had to flatten that out. And it fits, when you drive straight in the driveway, you'll pull right in there, and you don't have to go in front of the bays.
Yeah, so the stuff on the big asphalt, that's truck bay access.
Yes. So that's the only paved place. The rest of the site will just be gravel.
Now, does the fire department require access all around the buildings any longer?
I'm 90% sure what they want is around 3 sides of the building.
Okay.
90%. But they'll also get to make comments to the planning board when we hear from them
Because I
Thursday.
know I've heard sometimes they want full access. So.
Just depends on the chief, whoever the chief is, But right now, I think 3 is the magic number, but we'll know Thursday once we get the comments from them. I haven't seen any comments from any town staff. Diana usually sends them to us, so.
I've been living in ZBA world.
So I come back to the same question. Why can't they take all that paving on that side of the building, put it on the other side, turn the building around so that's less impact in the buffer zone?
Are you talking about moving the building to the right and the parking on the left?
No, see the parking in front of the building where the green is?
Yeah.
Take and put that on the backside of the building, or flip it around, whatever. Don't fill in more and destroy the buffer zone.
Not following.
Because what they're going to do is they're going to wipe out the rest of the buffer zone, which adds more sunlight and everything coming into that wetland area.
I think where that parking is, though, isn't that already cleared?
It is,
It's so
Yeah.
that paving's just going on top of what's already just gravel at the moment, right?
yes. Yep.
I'm just trying to get it out of the buffer zone, because you're consuming 75 feet of wooded areas.
But there are no woods there where that is now.
No,
I mean, it's-
where his basin is
Oh, where the basin is, yeah, right.
proposed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Basically, you're wiping out 75 feet of buffer. Well, a little bit less than the other part of it. Are you going to be doing a 21E for all those stains and spots and?
Probably not. That stuff needs to be cleaned up. And the other thing about that, the good thing about something like this is when you have pavement that's captured and brought into a catch basin where it's treated, and if you look at catch basins nowadays, back when we were kids, catch basins all had open bottoms and the water just went through because, now they're all solid and they hold 4 feet of water and they have an elbow. So the greases and anything lighter than water will sit up in there and typically just evaporate. They don't go out into the basin. So that's a good reason why that's one of the positives why paving is there. But no, we wouldn't do 21E for just stuff like that.
Anything else?
Nope.
Motion to continue until our next meeting.
Make that motion?
Second?
Discussion? Oh, before we do that, Jane, any final comment? And
No, my report says it all. Bob, I'm really feeling pretty awful. I have to sign out. I can't continue this meeting. I gotta go to bed. I really feel terrible.
okay.
Feel better,
All
Jane.
righty. All right, thanks, guys.
Okay, feel better. Any comments
Alrighty.
from the audience? Okay.
I texted Gabby and asked her if fire department wants access all around the building, and she says not anymore.
Oh, okay.
She also said there's no comments from any departments yet, Bill.
Okay,
Okay.
Pete,
So,
pick me up tomorrow?
usually a positive sign.
what's that?
He pick you up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, I don't think we voted on that. We've
2:20.
seconded. All in favor of continuing?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay. Ah, 7:10 PM.
You're still here?
Excuse my excess. Where's the legal notice? Pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, and Foxborough's Wetland Protection Bylaw, Chapter 267, the Conservation Commission will open a public hearing on Monday, January 23rd, 2023 at 7:10 PM in the Gala Meeting Room, Foxborough Town Hall, 40 South Street, or via Zoom on a notice of intent filed by Garrett and Alexandria Simmons for the construction of a single-family home with associated grading, utilities, and a well at 18 Goodwin Drive, Assessors Map 63, Plan 001/005. Portions of the proposed work lie within 100 feet of a resource area. Mr. Buckley.
Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. For the record, my name is Bill Buckley from Bay Colony Group, and I'm here representing the applicants, Mr. and Mrs. Simons. What you have before you is a single-family home located at 18 Goodwin Drive, and I'm going to zoom in here onto the locus plan to give you so I can show you where in the subdivision. This is up in the Lawson Farm subdivision. So here's my zoom. So if you came in the main road, you hit the first intersection. I don't know how many people have been up there lately, but the first phase, of course, is complete. All the houses have been built, and most of the infrastructure and most of the roadway, some sidewalk still needs to be put in, some islands at the entrance, but the roadways are in, trees, etc. But if you come around, if you came in, went up the hill, and then came down in here, this is the second phase that is, in the last couple of months, has just been built. It's been paved pretty much to right about here, right? Trying to show you on my hand. And number 18 is this lot down here. So you come down, you go down to the cul-de-sac, and then you would take the left, which is the only turn you can make. And it's not the first lot there, but it's the second lot on the left. So let me zoom back out. So this is, this lot is, it's undeveloped and contains about 52,000 square feet. It's in the R40 zoning district, so that requires you to have 40,000 square feet and 200 feet of frontage. There is some bordering vegetated wetland on the property right in this corner here, and it's only a small portion, only about 450 square feet of it is in BVW. And I don't know if the commissioners remember, it's been a while, but what we did is, this was originally an 80-acre parcel, and when we subdivided it, and we took about 40 acres of it, and we set it aside, which the commission will be owning someday, hopefully shortly. The quicker we get this built, the quicker we get it conveyed. And what we did is we tried to cut out the lot lines so that there was little to no wetland on the lots. And if you take a look up here or look at your plans, you can see there's a little path along the back there. And it's actually not little, but there's a path along the back there, and that path is right along the edge of the property line, God bless you. And so this lot is on the property. It faces what will be future conservation land. Has a small portion of wetland on it, and we're going to propose to build a single-family home. I tried to put it in color this time to make it better for us. This line right here, this dashed red line, this is the 100-foot buffer zone line. So one of the things I just want to point out on that, Mr. Opacker should be happy, is none of the house, there's no pavement, there's no structures within the 100-foot buffer zone. There's no driveway, there's no home. But we do grading within that area. And this lot, if anybody's had a chance to get out there, and you'll see it on all of the lots, because I'll be coming in for these 4 or 5 homes that are along the line here. If you stand on the road, all of them drop off. As you can imagine, because you're standing up there, we're on the side of a hill, and we're looking toward Lakeview Pond. Yep.
Yeah.
So what happens is these lots are, they're definite walkouts. And anybody who doesn't want to walk out is a little bit crazy, but that's okay. This is a walkout, and this is along the whole back of the property. So you can see this area in here. This is buffer zone work. We're grading in this area here, but the remainder of the area, we are clearing. I know it's hard to see, but we are clearing this portion of the lot, and it's a lot of clearing along the back there. We've stayed outside the 25-foot no disturb zone. But, you know, when you have a home like this, a young couple, they want to have a family, they want to have a yard, and what most people want to do, especially when they're buying big lots like this. So the proposed home sits about 114 feet from the BVW at its closest point, and then the clearing and grading will take place about 32 feet from the BVW at its closest point, which is this area right in here. This is the 25-foot. You can see along here, only this portion of the lot has the 25-foot on it, and the remainder of it is well outside. But in this area here, where it kind of noses up into the lot, this is the area where it's closest clearing. It's hard to see again, but you can see this note right here. There's a permanent monument there, there, there. And they're about 25 feet apart, and they're on the 25-foot no disturb line. And what they are, as you've seen them before, is they're concrete monuments. We put into the ground, they're 3 feet. We leave about 6 inches sticking up, and we put those plaques on them. So this tells any homeowner, you know, hey, look, it says don't go beyond this, basically, without permission of the commission. So that area will be marked. And then this area will have erosion control fencing along the edge of it, as well as construction fencing, so which is the exact same as what was required for the subdivision. It has the 9 inches of silt sack, and it has the orange construction fence. So if the contractor doesn't see the silt sack, you can't miss the construction fence. So that it will make sure that there's no inadvertent activity beyond the limited clearing that we've marked out. The total impervious area on the lot is only going to be 9% of the total lot area. None of that is within 100 feet of the BVW. The septic system is located in the front of the house, which is this area here. This heavier black line, you can see right here, the 150-foot, this is the septic system setback line, and you can see the system is here. It's about 178 feet from the, at the closest point from the wetlands. I talked about the silt sock barrier, I talked about the monuments. You know, the construction sequence for this type of projects is very general, you know, until we have a contractor, but really it's almost always the same. They'll cut the trees down before they grub, they put the erosion control fence in, then they remove the stumps and grub it. They bring the site to subgrade, which in this particular case is mostly in the front of the house. There will be some filling underneath the house. And over here on the north side, as you look at it, you can see there's a significant amount of filling in this area here. And that's because of the driveway. So Jane made some comments in her letter, or maybe it was an email to me. She and I were talking about it. And she said, why don't you move the grading over here to the south side of the house, and that way we can push the grading further away from the wetlands and the buffer zone. Let me show you why I explained it to her. I don't know if she passed it on to you. So if you look in this area here, I know it's hard to see, but right down in this area here, we're at about elevation 297 feet above sea level. The driveway is 295. So that's about 50 feet, maybe 60 feet. So that's about a 5-foot drop. That's pretty steep. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a steep drop, coming in and then going down. But then we flatten it out on the bottom. So that, and even that includes, we're bringing in fill underneath this garage and driveway. So we picked the house up as much as we could, but even then, the top of foundation is 294, and I know I'm throwing a lot of numbers at you, 294 above sea level, and in front here, it's 298 above sea level. So that top of that foundation is going to be about 4 feet below the road there. But when you go out there and look at that road, if you brought the driveway in over here, that elevation's 302, because this road is going down. So it's going down in that direction. So now we're at 302, and the garage floor is at 292. So now we have a 10-foot drop. That's just not acceptable. You know.
I'm laughing because I've got 14, 15.
Yeah, you have it. That's why So it's not acceptable. I mean, yeah, you suck it up when you bought a house like that, but not when you're building new construction. We want to try and hold the grade to 5 or 6%, because we do live in New England, even though we haven't seen snow in 3 years. But so that's why, and I explained that to Jane, and she said, thank you, gave me a comment back. So this is really the most practical area to put a driveway on based on the grades out there. And yes, we do have some grading back there, but we have put walls out there in order to minimize what's going on in the back. There is a well. We're proposing a well on the lot, so you can see that area there. At its closest point, the well is 76 feet from the wetlands. And it's over here on the northeast corner.
Why the well? Is that?
Irrigation.
Oh, just irrigation. All right. Okay.
I think that's the plan right now.
I thought we couldn't do
Irrigation.
that anymore.
What, irrigation?
With well water, yeah. I thought that was,
Oh, no, you'd have
we
a
can.
riot if they tried to do that. They did try and bring it, the Board of Health did consider it.
because I had a neighbor that had it in our neighborhood, like off of Linda Street, somebody had it on there, but then, all right, maybe I misheard. This is a while ago when we had the drought, because I planted a lawn that turned to weeds because I couldn't water. Anyway,
No, so I'll tell you what the bylaws are in Foxborough. You can't have an irrigation, if you're a homeowner, you can have irrigation well, it's all on you, and you can have a well for your house if you want it. Commercial, you cannot irrigate more than 10,000 square feet. So if you have a business and you have a big lawn,
so it pertains to like Lions or places like that.
Lions is different, but that's agricultural. That's agricultural, but it's a.
I don't want to derail the conversation, I'm sorry, I was talking off the top of my
No, it's
head.
all right.
Yeah.
But you can have an irrigation well without limitations at Foxborough. So that's what's back there in that area. And other than that, the back area is just grass.
And then the driveway the garage is underneath the house, is grade level
Yes.
at that point.
So the garage floor is at 292 and the top of foundation is 294. So it's 2 feet below the top of your foundation, maybe 2 steps in your garage.
What's is there any boundary on the property line?
Yes. So in the back here, it's really hard to see, and it's not on these drawings. It's on the drawings that you approved.
Yeah.
But see this dot right here?
Yep.
See that dot? Now come down here. See that dot?
Yep.
And now come down here. See that dot? That's a 4-foot high, 6x6 post that will have a thing on it that says conservation land. And we put that along the trail, anywhere where there was an angle point.
Yep.
So when people are tooling down the trail, they'll know, hey, this is the limit of where you can go. Don't be tooling in people's backyards.
Yeah, my question was, there's no marker on the 25-foot there, but it's right there at the corner, that edge where you got the other bound anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because that's off our property. But on our property, here, and here.
But I was thinking, right there at that point where the 25-foot crosses.
Oh, right here.
But you've got it right there anyway with the boundary line, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
A suggestion, I don't know, as you say, people tool down the pathway, they're going to be going, because that little finger of wetlands coming in there, they're going to be going on private property. I was thinking about it, and a suggestion might be work with Jane and have the homeowner build an appropriate walkway over that wetland tongue there, and that will keep them off of private property. Other than that, they're going to be walking around that.
It wasn't that wet, though.
What's that?
It wasn't that wet. That path is so obvious
It's
in
wet
the area.
now. I mean, Jane and I were walking out there, and it was wet,
Really.
yeah. That tongue that comes in there.
I think the developer could probably be asked to help do that.
I'll talk to Bobby, he'll be fine. I'll have him talk to Jane, see
Yeah.
what she wants to do, maybe
You-
some stones, some
Yeah.
rocks, I mean, I don't know what you
Yeah,
want.
whatever, I mean,
Yeah, but do you agree with that corner being very,
Oh, it's mushy,
it's very mushy,
yeah,
yeah.
it's mushy.
And I would also strongly recommend that the homeowner, because the vegetation in there is not very dense, do some heavy planting in that area, appropriate planting, blueberries or whatever.
Along the edge of the clearing, you mean?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because hopefully, well, now it's not, it's used now, and hopefully in the future, when it does become conservation land, more usage will happen there. And it would be good to have a buffer between the homeowner and the pathway, because we don't want to get into a situation where the homeowners are saying, that's my property type of thing. So if we have I know the signs will be there, but
Yeah, well, that's why we wanted those posts. You know, they're not little bounds in the ground, they're 4
They're
foot
big,
high,
yeah.
sticking up, 6 by 6, and you just can't miss them.
Yeah, I mean, plantings along the property line and along the 25-foot or whatever there that would be.
I think that would increase the buffer.
Yeah, pepper bush and high bush blueberries will work in that type of soil and wetness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
We talked about that, I mean, I told them that there's a path there and it's gonna be conservation land, and they were, okay. I said, okay, but they've heard it again from you, and we'll,
Yeah, I mean, I walked it this weekend, and I feel like they might feel like there's people walking through their backyard
Yeah.
once it's cleared.
yeah, I don't disagree, because it's
If you don't
not,
want that feeling, I would definitely
had that.
put some blueberry bushes and sweet pepper bush in there.
why the 25-foot monument's only 6 inches above the ground? Because after a while, a few autumns of leaves and pine needles, they're going to start getting buried.
Well, bounds are 3 feet, I mean, what do you want me to stick them up, a foot?
It'd be more noticeable. I thought you had them a little bit longer.
No, the concrete bounds are 3 feet. I mean, you can buy 4-foot granite bounds, but you can't put, I suppose you could, but much more difficult to put
Are they
those
wooden?
markers on it.
Are they wooden?
Concrete.
They're concrete. No, these are concrete bounds. They're the ones we've used on all your projects. London Estates, we just did on that side road to the left. We put those along the yard. I mean, we can stick them up further. But, you know, the deal is,
But if you stick them up further, the frost will probably push them out of the
well,
ground.
that's what I was thinking, or you can knock them off, and, I mean, 6 inches is,
They can be found, I guess,
Yes.
at that point, is like if we're
Yeah,
looking for.
and there's,
I mean, they're for the homeowner, not for the public.
yes.
Yeah. Last question.
What's that?
Off of the cul-de-sac, next to that lot
yes.
on the left, is there a way down to that path, like we walked?
No,
Will it be?
no,
No?
No, so the way it's gonna work, I know you weren't on a board, a commission at the time. So, you guys know the area, you come in off Lakeview, and that's how you get there, or you come in off of Old Colony Road, you come in that way. So the deal that the developer worked out with the planning board, and I know the commission had input, is this land is gonna be conveyed to the commission, and then one of two things has to happen. He has to provide access to the paths through the subdivision, or give you 10 grand so you can improve access wherever you want in town. And he has not made a public announcement of what he's going to do. But I would be,
Is there a time, is there a date on that, when it has to be done? No?
No.
No.
no, but I would, your stick is, he can't get the roads accepted without an order of certificate of compliance. So, the way it normally works is, once everything's done, everything gets passed off, everything gets conveyed, and then the town accepts it.
I think this is Old Colony Road here.
He's getting ready to move into the third phase too, so it's good.
Does it do a big loop? Does it go all the way around?
Actually, it ties into this upper
Oh, State
reservoir.
Forest, somebody, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
The upper reservoir.
Got it. Yep.
So the whole section that's cleared, like, next to the driveway, to the lot line, is that all gonna be lawn too?
Yes.
Down to that?
You
I know they
guys-
want a big lawn, but
I know.
like if they went sort of from the corner of the driveway and left that not
just-
lawn.
I was just showing, I was just putting this up in case you wanted to ask questions.
Yeah.
Here's the path, comes in from Lakeview Road, and then it skirts along the edge here. There still is, but it kind of ends right there because it's all been
Yeah.
knocked out. But you stay on this path, it goes around, and then it shoots up here in this direction. And I know, I can't see because, but you can
You
see
don't
how
have
it goes through
Lakeview,
there.
Old Colony on there, do you?
Right?
Yeah.
No, it's just off of it, isn't there?
It's further to the right.
Yeah, it's just off of it.
Yeah. But that's where it connects in.
And then this comes over here toward this basin here, which would be, this is the third phase in this area here. So if I was a betting man, if there was going to be access, it's going to be over in this area here.
Okay.
That basin already in?
No,
And there's another one down further, closer to this house?
this one's in,
That one's in?
yeah. This one's in, it's got this big pile of loam right there. This one's in, and the road ends right here. And we're talking about this lot right here.
Yeah.
So the road ends right here. And we're stopping right here.
Oh, they gone that far? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, we had to take it that far to put this basin in
There,
and get
okay.
the drainage coming through here. So we're going to the planning board Thursday night to ask them to extend the permit, which ends in April for them. And if they say yes, which we fully expect them to do, they will be in there building this last section of roadway and trying to get those lots sold, which would be awesome, getting this thing finished and done, so you don't have an issue like Dudley Hill Estates, which was, 20 years of getting built out, and I'm sorry, let me go back, Rebecca, to what you were asking me. This right here. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just thinking like that, the area of the lawn that's sort of behind and next to the driveway there, that's the section that comes closest to the wetland. So
Right
if
here.
they just didn't, yeah, like where the well is, that kind of section, like if they didn't make that all lawn, they'd still have a lot of lawn there, and it would provide a bit more of a
What would be
buffer
the-
when you come close to the, because that's the area that's closest to the wetland. It's so nice that you have, like 50 feet and the rest of it.
Well, the problem is, it's not a problem, the issue is in that area there, we have a 10-foot fill. We're
Yeah.
filling 10 feet in that area there and grading it down. So there's not much, lawn is the easiest thing to maintain. And, it's all about maintenance. I don't know what else we can do in that
Say
area.
a perennial garden or a bee garden or, there's other stuff that's pleasing to the eye that can go in as well, that the point of like lawn just equals nitrogen and phosphorus, right? And that's just, like I said, that's a big slope. So it's nice having the lake there, but if you don't want that to become like green slime by August,
Well, that's
the more we can do to keep,
the reason why I want heavy vegetation put in
Sure.
there.
so just, I don't know that we can require that, but,
Well, I think my clients are here and they hear it.
Yeah.
And, they understand, they don't want it to be slimy either.
Right.
That's the
Want it to
value,
look
it's
nice.
Yeah.
the value of their property. So, I think if we can leave it to them to
sure.
work in that area there and to listen to what you just said.
I assume, Bill, that you're going to have the water come down the driveway and pitch to the north, garage doors to the opposite side of the driveway, not off the edge?
Yeah, so.
Okay.
So the garage driveway's the garage doors are 292. You can see the end of the driveway's 290, so it's pitched off in that direction. It's got a 100-foot run before it hits the wetland. You can see the red line there. I didn't mention this, but all the roof drains, as always, will be connected together and infiltrated into the ground. So every lot in this subdivision and in any subdivision lately, the last 15, 20 years, all of the lots will have that type of system. So Caltech infiltration chambers. And that is also just outside the 100-foot buffer.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
Yeah. Any questions from the audience? Close the hearing.
Make that motion to close the hearing.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Diana, do you have a signature page?
I have a signature page.
Okay. So I want to make a motion. Sign the order of conditions.
Approve?
Approve. All right, I make a motion to approve order conditions for 18 Goodwood Drive, DEP 157-621.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Right?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
Thank you very much.
Let's see. Oh, it's mine.
I'll be back.
Okay. Right. Moving right along. Jeff, what's your deadline?
About 45 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right. It being 7:15 PM, pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, Wetlands Protection Act, and Foxborough's Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Chapter 267, the Conservation Commission will open a public hearing on Monday, January 23rd, 2023, at 7:15 PM in the Gala Meeting Room, Foxborough Town Hall, 40 South Street, and via Zoom on a notice of intent filed by Mass DOT for roadway improvements along 2.64 miles of Route 1 in Foxborough. Portion of the proposed work lie within 100 feet of a resource area. Good evening. Ladies and gentlemen,
Good evening. Hi there. I'm Dan Kanata, environmental scientist with VHB. A couple of folks from our engineering design team with me tonight. Tracy
You're
Leonard, who's the
dropping off.
project manager,
okay.
and Denise Cardoz, who is also an engineer on the project. Courtney Walker from MassDOT. She is an environmental analyst, and she is also joining us tonight.
Okay.
So I do have the few relevant sheets from the plans to share. So again, this is a roadway improvement project along Route 1 between the Walpole and Rentham town lines, all within Foxborough. There are several resource areas along the project limits where the work is going to be within the 100-foot buffer zone to BVW and Bank. But there's only two locations in particular where we actually have work in resource areas. The work by the Neponset River. This is the crossing under Route 1 before it goes in the vicinity
Excuse me.
of Gillette
could-
Stadium. Sorry, yes.
Yes,
Paul, can you turn it up, please? Thank you.
you're dropping off in volume. We're losing you.
It's internal.
Sorry about that. Is that any better now?
Yeah, much better, thank you.
Excellent, great. So again, this is the portion of the project limits within the riverfront area associated with the Neponset River. A lot of the bulk of the work of this project is actually just pavement milling and overlay along the roadway corridor. There is some minor permanent impact to riverfront area, and that is associated with work needed to reconstruct sections of the sidewalk in this area. And other temporary impacts are just associated with guardrail replacement and loam and seed installation along the shoulders here. Again, no work in the Neponset River or associated floodplain is proposed at this location. The other area where we do have work within a resource, this is right near the Lincoln Road intersection. There is really what was designed to be an equalizer pipe between two wetland resource areas on either side of Route 1. One section of the head wall on this side here has become quite deteriorated and has accumulated a lot of sediment and debris through the years. So the plan here is to clean out the trash and debris that's accumulated, as well as sediment, reconstruct the head wall. This is about an 18-inch culvert. And then there will be some temporary impact to land underwater associated with actually reconstructing the channel of this stream. That will then be readjusted with a modified rock fill and covered with a natural substrate. And then there's actually no work proposed in BVW in this area. It's all contained within this channel. And all other areas along the project limits, we are proposing erosion and sedimentation controls between the limits of work and any wetlands along the corridor. This can also be permitted as a limited project under 1053-3F, which allows for maintenance and repairs of existing roadways. So at this point, I'll open things up to the commission for questions, and our engineers are here to answer more technical specific items.
Thank you for that. I guess the first question I have is, when do you plan to start construction?
Denise or Tracy, I'll defer to you in that one.
I can take that one. MassDOT plans to put this out for public bidding later this summer. It could start as early as this late fall, but I would anticipate most of the work will start next spring.
Okay. Do we have any questions for the board? Jane and I looked at it, it's pretty straightforward. Dave?
No, it's pretty straightforward.
No, fixing the road right now.
Yeah.
their biggest problem will be any heavy rains on exposed new soil and seeds. It might wash out into the buffer areas.
But they've got the,
They'll have silk
they'll
controls,
have
like controls out, yeah.
silk controls up for that, so I don't foresee any problems. Actually, I don't have any problems with it. As I say, the agent and I discussed it, and I think she's all set with it, so without further ado, unless you have some final comments.
None myself. Anyone else on the team?
Nope.
Should be up.
Okay, nothing from the audience. Somebody want to make a motion to close the hearing?
Make a motion to close hearing DEP 157-622.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None? All right.
I don't have anything to sign for
Okay.
this one, so we'll have to do it at the next meeting.
All right, we will get the paperwork to you within a reasonable amount of time. Our agent is sick tonight, but we'll get it out this week. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. At 7:20, we have a 2 Washington Street continuation. The applicant has requested continuance to March 6th. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to continue DEP number 157-617 to March 6, 2023.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. All right, Mr. Buckley, we have, okay, that's done. Hockomock Y. This is a convoluted.
Bless you.
You want to bring us up to date, Mr. Buckley? on-
Sure, Mr. Chairman. But what I'd like to do, though, is turn it over to Greg Spear. Greg's on the board of the Hockomock YMCA, and he can give you a background, and then I can jump into the technical, why we're here tonight. Greg is zooming in from Naples, Florida.
From where?
Hello, everybody. Thank you
Isn't
for giving us an
technology great?
Thank you. I'm down here with my mom, who just turned 94, so she's doing great. So as we
Wish you a
say, the
happy
good Lord's not
birthday
done
for
with
me.
her. So, oh, good, I will. So thank you for letting us come in front of you. Just a little background on the proposal that we have. Originally, when we came in front of the Conservation Commission for the outdoor pool, originally the splash park was part of that proposal, and due to financial constraints at the time, we couldn't afford to build it. And actually, not only afford to build it, the splash parks were relatively new for YMCA's about 6 or 7 years ago. So we actually brought in a national Y architect to work with our local architect to develop up a plan, which is what Bill will be presenting. So originally it was proposed, and it's actually going in the location of where the existing basketball and pickleball courts are right now, that it's actually an asphalt area. But when we designed the outdoor pool, we actually designed the filtration system to accommodate a future splash park. So right now, for people who aren't aware, the summer camp at the Hockomock Y, we're at capacity. We have almost 650 campers every day coming in, and we want to make sure we keep that the numbers up. Camp is one of our most profitable things that we do for the YMCA, and during COVID, we basically lost about a third of our membership. So we're trying to build it back up, and we're doing quite well with it. But we feel that this will be a really visible part, that even during the winter time, the splash park is very visible, and we feel it's going to really enhance our membership, especially for the children. So we asked to come back in front of the board to obtain the approval so we can start construction and have it ready for basically June 30th when our camp programs start up. So that's it. Bill will go over the specifics with you. And I think during one of the visits with Jane on site, there was a few issues that, we want to resolve that I guess have happened over the last couple of years. And we figured this could be a little bit different intent, as we're basically not impacting anything more than what is existing there. That's just a little background on it. I don't think, Bill, you don't have a picture of what the splash park will look like, right?
I do.
Not that it matters to.
I do.
Oh, good. So, I think that kind of is an introduction, and then I'll turn it over to Bill.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'll just add a little meat to what Greg was saying. This was actually the third phase of the YMCA. The first phase was a building. The second phase was when they added the pool. And then this was the third phase, was the outdoor pool area. And I'm going to share, oh, there it is. Good. So this is the phase, this was back in 2010 now. This area was basketball and tennis courts at the time. And so what we'd come in and ask the commission for was, hey, we're going to take this portion of it here, turn that into a pool, and we're going to continue to use this piece as a basketball, and in this area back here was the splash park. So this was the original design that was approved back in 2010. And then we came back for a minor modification, and what it was we eliminated, as Greg pointed out, we eliminated the splash park for the purposes that Greg pointed out. And then we finished it, and I think it was in 2013. I was just going through my notes. We filed a request for a certificate of compliance, which included this work, but also included some remediation that was to take place along the river here, which is just north of the site. In case anybody's ever been there, as you come in on the Y, it's all heavily vegetated, but right there on your left is Robinson Brook. It starts over in the Foxboro Company and then heads to Mansfield. So and for some reason, I have no idea, we filed the request for certificate of compliance, and then nothing happened. I don't know what happened. I don't know why I didn't follow up. Jane can't remember. Of course, you see how crazy she is with notes. Her notes are the best. She went back through her notes and still couldn't figure it out, but whatever. So we have this open order of conditions, which has expired. So I said, the Y came to me and said, we want to do this. We want to rejuvenate this. I'm like, oh, great, not a problem. The order's still open. It's pretty much already been approved. Let's just go back and ask for a minor modification, because the splash park now is a little bit different, which I'll show you in a moment. Just want to give you some background here. So Jane said, I really don't feel comfortable with modifying a expired order of conditions. I'm like, okay, what's the solution? We have an expired order of conditions. It's in the middle of the winter. I can't finish whatever was supposed to have been done. And as Greg pointed out, I'll show you in a moment, subsequent to this being constructed, the Y went in and built a little gravel driveway right next to the river. in that area there. And the riverfront restoration needs to be inspected. Now, we had inspected it back in like 2013, and I have a letter from the guy who did it saying that he did it, but hey, that was 10 years ago. So, but we, there's nothing we can do now. So I said, we want to get this built so that we can't wait till May or June and then file, and then, we missed a whole year. So I wish Jane was here, and I hate saying what people say, but I think what she said to me was, maybe we can do this under a request for determination. And then we can deal with the expired order and fix the things that needed to be fixed before we close that order. But we can do the park under a request for determination. I said, sounds good to me. So that's what we were proposing. We were going to come in last 2 weeks ago before that wicked 1.5 inches of snow that canceled the meeting. That was embarrassing. I'm sorry. Okay. I mean, come on, we're from Massachusetts.
That wasn't my request. It was
I know.
a request of higher ups.
I know.
So,
And that's okay. I had something in, it was either Rentham or Sharon the same night. It also got canceled. But anyways, so this is the thing. You can see it. The pool has actually been built. It's a little bit different. This shows it as, there was going to be 2 separate, I think one was going to be a boys' bathroom and a girls' changing room or whatever. And this was going to be the pump room. And then what has been changed, and one of the modifications that we showed you at the time was this went to one building. And then that's in the same general area. So let me go now to the next one. So this is the existing conditions right here. Actually, it's not the existing conditions. Yeah, this is the existing conditions plan right in this area here. So that would be the first sheet that I gave you. And this area is the pool, and you can see that changed to one building, and the mechanical room is still there. The basketball court is where it is, and then this area right here, which is not labeled, it should be, this is the gravel that was put in at some point to do whatever.
now where's Robinson Brook there?
Right here.
Okay, all right.
This is Robinson Brook.
Okay, all right.
So that's that area there. So that's the existing conditions and what is built there now. Let me also
Is there
show,
a shed somewhere along there that was added?
right here, a trailer. This is a trailer that's right in the parking lot there
Okay,
to the,
and how close is that to Robbie Brook?
it's pretty close. It's probably 75 feet, but it was supposedly built on the paved, it's a trailer on wheels.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to, my understanding was it was going to be temporary. It's pretty permanent.
Yeah.
Been there for more than a few, and we can discuss that when we do, to try and clean up any other issues
Okay,
along
because
there.
I know that was a concern of Jane's.
That could be one of the things we can deal with when we go for a certificate of compliance.
Okay.
So was the restoration area restored?
Yes.
But we have no proof of it, because Jane couldn't find any proof of it.
We have a letter, when I submitted my request for a certificate of compliance, we filed a letter at that time from the landscape company that did the work, as well as a notation from Pear, because they had to do some, not modifications. They couldn't find certain plants, so they'd used other plants. So, but the short answer is yes. Did I ever see it? No. If I saw it, I wouldn't know what I was looking at anyways. So that's why we have the guy who did the plantings and Pear. So, but that was 10 years ago. So that needs to be reviewed. And again, that could be something that we need to deal with before the commission issues a certificate of compliance for the open order.
So something that was added per your existing plan is that gravel area, or road path or whatever,
Yes.
and it looks like it goes to the picnic area, what used to be picnic area,
Yeah.
on the 2010 plan.
Yep, still shown as that. There's the 2010 plan, and this shows it as, it's still there. But that area needs to be, we need to work on that to get it back to where it was on the original plan. But this area right here, this basketball court, and I wanted to show pictures. Let me show you some photos. Why is that not showing? Okay, stop share. Share. And we'll use this one as a good one. So this is a picture, if you're, you're coming in right here, this is the driveway coming in, there's the main building, there's the pump house in the back, there's the pool, this is the basketball court. So just to kind of orient you to what we're talking about, all of the activity, all of the future, any pavement is going to take place on the existing pavement. Let me go back to this now. So let me go now to the next sheet, if you can flip through your sheets. So this shows, again, so here's the pool, here's the changing area, here's the mechanical storage. This is the basketball net area. What we want to do is have, it says 4 square hopscotch, whatever they're going to do in that area there, kind of a half basketball, pickleball area in this area. And this is the splash park. If you remember, the splash park here, when the original drawing was in, actually, if the first drawing is the splash park was here, then we modified it, and the approved drawing, the splash park was in the back, and then it was eventually eliminated. So in this particular design, we want to work, again, we're going to stay on the existing pavement, splash park, basketball court, not going off of it. This area that's grass and shrubs is already areas that's grass and shrubs. There's no impervious area being added to it. We show some silt stock here because there will be some grassing, some landscaping there. We wanted to make sure it doesn't go toward the brook. Here's the grass. Here's the gravel area that we were talking about earlier that needs to be removed. Let me now show you some kind of cartoonish pictures of what the splash park will look like. These are just some renderings that were done for us. They're not exactly probably what will be, but it gives you a flavor for, where is it? It will give you a flavor for what the it's going to look like. Why I can't get it up.
Bill, do you need me to see if I can find a picture of it?
No, I got it here, Greg. I have it up. I just can't call it. But hold on, let me close some of these other ones, and maybe that's the problem.
While you're doing that, Bill, is there anything at the edge of the pavement to keep the water from running down to the brook
The
right now and in the future?
no, there's nothing on it. But it's also not. It's not like there's cars on it.
Yeah.
So normally what we want to worry about is, like David was pointing out earlier, is oil, grease, and stuff.
Right, I know, yeah.
This is just kids on a basketball court. So no, we don't show anything other than the fact that there is a.
I know there's no grade to it. It's more of a question, is there any erosion possibility of water running off? But
There is a little bit there, which is what I was showing you on this. Let me go back to this.
for the silt sock?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that silt sock will be, because around the edges, which it's already landscaped for the most part,
Okay.
but around the edges, it will continue to be landscaped. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble here today. Greg, can you call it up? Can you share? I can't seem to call it up. I'm sorry, I can't get it to come up.
That's all right.
know what, let me show you.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what it kind of looks like. You know, they have these toys in there.
Yep. Make sure you show the camera.
Okay.
Very good.
No.
Now, could you hold that so Mr. Beck can zoom in on it?
That's what I said, make sure he shows the camera.
Can you see that, Paul?
Wow, look at that.
Technology.
Somebody's watching me.
Good. Thank you, sir.
So I guess what we're asking the commission this evening is that, would that be an appropriate way to move forward, us filing a request for determination just for this, which is on existing pavement, it's not any alteration other than, you know, some landscaping around the edges, and then we'll move forward and square away that order of conditions when the weather turns. It will be the same time as this. It's just a question that we can't do it until the weather turns. So we'll get Jane out there whenever, March, April, for her to look at it. And then when we go in there and do this work, when we do the landscape portion of it, we'll fix the rest of that as well.
Anybody have any difficulties with that?
No, I go with Jane's recommendation, request for determination, and somehow or another work out the piece of paper to close the old order.
Yeah, expired order. I'll let her figure out the details on how to do that. She would work with
Yeah, well-
MACC or,
We'll leave that to Jane, and
Yeah.
we'll get Bob Bunstein from the WISE, the facilities guy, and have his plantering guy, whoever it is. Actually, Pear did the plan, and I don't know the name of the company that did the work. They can work that out together. And I'm very confident that by the time this thing opens, we should be pretty close, if not done, of fixing the other stuff, asking that to be closed.
So you're working on making the structures and getting them up and ready to be running for the summer, and then finish up the late spring? Any restoration?
Oh, what he was saying, and again, I don't know anything about that stuff. Somebody might, so they might say, oh no, we can't plant that till the fall. But the YMCA's plan is to do it all at once.
Okay.
Just get it all done in the spring, because, you know, they're gonna have, you know, hundreds of kids tromping through there, so they need to get that area grassed and stabilized, if they're gonna, you know, take out the gravel and stuff. So it all needs to kind of happen at the same time.
Bill, I just emailed you a picture of it. I don't know if you can get your email.
That's all right, Greg, they all get a flavor
Okay,
for it.
okay.
Thanks.
So, if it's okay with the commission, what we'll do is we'll file this week,
March 6th.
the March 6th meeting. And get going on that.
yeah, all right, sounds reasonable.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Greg.
you.
Thanks, Greg.
Enjoy that balmy weather.
Yeah, it's a big refreshment from 10 below at my house the other day, so definitely a big change. Hey, Bill, can you see your email? Because the latest one of the elevations is part of that, or some of it.
Okay,
60 on Friday, so.
I will check it.
Okay.
So 2:30 tomorrow?
2:30 tomorrow, we'll meet on site.
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Do you need a ride, Jeff? Okay.
Peter's gonna pick me up.
What we do, just drive in
Yeah, just drive in.
to the end of that road?
Yep,
Okay.
you can't miss
You know
it.
how to get in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that do?
I don't know about this draft letter, 20 Ridge Road.
I just soon
That's Ron's.
hold that for a little bit,
Yeah, I think that's Ron's thing anyway.
yeah. Other than that, anything else? Do I hear a motion?
Sure, I was gonna not do, because I was going to be leaving earlier anyway, but I'll make a motion to close the hearing, close the meeting.
Second?
Adjourn.
Adjourn, sorry, thank you.
Adjourn,
Adjourn.
adjourn. I got a second? Do I,
David, second.
discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.